Toy Story 4 was such a breath of fresh air from reviewing Incredibles 2. While it isn't my favourite film in the franchise per se, I do think it was a fun ride from start to finish. And it's a film that I kinda see too much hate for. I would have said the same for Incredibles 2, but we all know what happened. Now see, this is what Incredibles 2 would have been like quality-wise if it was pushed back. Yeah, Toy Story 4 will have to drop in quality for what it was worth, but like the old saying goes, what's happened has happened. But enough about that. Let's get into the nitty-gritty details about this film. I really enjoyed the story of this film. The beginning was really damn good. I really like how we get to see Andy's house probably one last time here. And it was pretty intense with the whole rescue with RC. And we even got to see how Bo Peep got taken away from Woody, which is pretty disheartening. You really sympathize with him when he realizes that he has to let Bo Peep go because of his responsibility with Andy. Granted, we don't get to see all of what happened to Bo in this film, but we do get to see it in Lamp Life later on, but that's another story. And now we shoot forward to present day, and Dolly has taken over the role of the leader of the group instead of Woody, now that his life with Andy is over. Admittedly, this is kind of weird because in some of the shorts, we do see that he is still the leader despite being with the new owner, but that's something I could overlook. Because you could just say that his responsibility of being leader kind of phased out over time. And you can really tell that Woody is still trying to be there for Bonnie. And I don't blame Bonnie for being nervous about going into kindergarten, because it is kind of tough going into a new environment and trying to make new friends. And when she's in kindergarten, it's really cute how Woody just chucks some random stuff from the trash for Bonnie to use when constructing her pencil holder. Or in this case, a new toy character, Forky, the cash cow character of this film. Once Forky is in the picture, Woody keeps trying his best to keep him in line because he knows that Forky is Bonnie's most important toy at the moment, which, now that I've rewatched this, I think it's kind of a nice parallel to when Buzz arrived, because when Buzz arrived, he was the most important toy to Andy, but Woody just didn't give a shit when he was given all the attention, which resulted in, you know. And now that Forky's being given the importance of being there for Bonnie, Woody does his best to try and keep him out of the trash despite being made out of trash. You can really feel his stress of trying to do this, especially during the Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away musical number montage. God, that was a bit of a mouthful. But it is funny how Forky believes that he belongs in the trash. But thanks to Woody when he's struck down and they have to walk to Bonnie, he tells Forky all about Andy and what it's like to be a toy. The two do try to get back to Bonnie, but they come across Bo Peep's lamp. Woody thinks that she's inside, but they come across Gabby, who wants to be looked upon, and wants Woody's pull string to get the attention and love she wants. But it all results in Forky being in the wrong hands, and Woody has to get the assistance of Bo Peep, along with a slew of new faces, to try and rescue Forky before the caravan sets off to the next destination. Many escapades abound, including Gabby ending up being in the hands of a lost child, and it all ends with Woody eventually staying with Bo Peep as a lost toy, to help out lost children in need. The story here is an improvement over Incredibles 2's story. It's well paced, and there are quite a few moments that gave me a good chuckle. I know a lot of people aren't really too keen on the whole inner voice gag in the film, but in my opinion, it's not bad. It gave me a good chuckle every now and then. Yeah, it's not like Buzz to have the assistance of his inner voice box, but at least it's not a complete total assassination of his character. Because if you ignore the whole inner voice gag, Buzz is still the loyal best friend to Woody that's been there since the beginning. The rest of the toys don't really do a whole lot, aside from Jessie bursting one of the caravan's front tires. And admittedly, that pretty silly, but still funny climax when trying to get the caravan to the carousel. But I do find it sweet how Pixar went about how Mr. Potato Head was treated. 2 years before this movie came out, Mr. Potato Head's original voice actor, Don Rickles, had sadly passed away due to kidney failure, meaning that he couldn't record any lines for the guy when the film was still in production. So they pulled a Doc Hudson by using unused archival recordings from Mr. Potato Head that didn't end up being used in the first 3 movies. That is a very sweet thing to do, because it's not disrespecting the original actor or anything. I was so hyped to see Bo Peep again after her absence in the 3rd movie. I really like how she's treated here. She actually kinda likes being a lost toy, despite Woody still wanting to be there for Bonnie. Bo though says to Woody that she doesn't need a kid, and that she can have more than just a kid. But I still appreciate how Woody and Bo's relationship is still intact here, even if it was a bit rocky in some parts. Especially the scene where Woody lashes out at Bo and wanted to go back for Bonnie after he was left behind. This scene really hits me in the feels, especially when Woody says that loyalty is something that a lost toy like Bo wouldn't understand. But despite all of that, in the end, Woody decides to stay with Bo. In what is well, okay, this scene got me. Granted, not as much as the incinerator scene in Toy Story 3, but still made me emotional. And before rewatching this, it made me question, how in the hell do all of these toys come with all this emotion? Yeesh! I wouldn't even beg to differ what emotions they'll face in the 5th film. Yeah, I kinda knew that there was going to be a 5th movie before it was even announced or greenlit, because I'm one of those people who's just curious about what this could lead off to. But I'll get to that discussion later. Gabby Gabby made for a pretty interesting anti-antagonist. Reason why I say that is because, yeah, she may seem like the whole antagonist of the film, with her trying to snatch Woody's pull string and all, but really, she's just doing this just to be loved. I mean, we did see Woody being neglected by Bonnie in the opening scene, and only after Forky telling Gabby about all of what Woody told him, that's when he realized that she really isn't all bad. And that moment when she tells Woody being there for Andy when he needed it most was a true standout moment for her. And it really makes you realize that she really wants to be loved by Harmony, the kid who Gabby looks down upon. But it turns out that Harmony doesn't want Gabby, which makes her disheartened. This is a really touching moment. After wanting to be loved by Harmony, she doesn't care about her. Woody though convinces Gabby to go with Bonnie until she eventually comes across a lost kid, and she ends up being loved by her. It was a very touching sequence. It may not have been Harmony, but it was certainly what she wanted. The rest of the new faces are fun new additions. Ducky and Bunny make for fun comic relief characters, and I just couldn't get enough of their fantasy sequence of them trying to get the key from the antique shop owner. Yeah, it's ridiculous, but who cares? Giggle McDimple is kinda like Void from the last movie, where I actually have a bit of a soft spot for her. I like her personality, and I think she's a neat sidekick, I guess, to Bo Peep. Duke Kaboom, though, is great. Probably the best newbie in the whole film. His backstory is actually kinda tragic. His kid was upset that when he got him, he didn't live up to what he thought Duke would be in the commercials, which made him disheartened. But despite all of that, Duke is still determined, and I love that moment in the climax when he closes his eyes and makes the 15-feet jump, despite falling during the rescue sequence to try and get to Forky. And I completely forgot how fantastic Keanu Reeves is as the character. Like, hearing his voice in this film after hearing his amazing performance as Shadow in Sonic 3 was, again, total whiplash. Now on to other elements of the film. The animation here is stunning. The character models here have never looked this great against the lighting. The heavy rain at the beginning scene is really well done, And all the sceneries of the carnival and the lighting in the antique store are really pretty. This is another case where the original character designs blend in well with the realistic environments, and I appreciate that. The music, on the other hand, though, yeah, that is probably my biggest issue with this film, because it's lacking in new music. It's just reusing various pieces from the previous movies, which, while neat, kinda gets off-putting for like half of this movie. Admittedly, it was great hearing the Buzz Lightyear theme again from the opening of Toy Story 2, but again, the score here is quite lacking. Don't get me wrong, there are new pieces, especially in the ending scene, but is that it? And there are moments when the reused music plays that doesn't really line up with what's happening on screen. I could go into that, but we'd be here all day. But I can't lie that I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away is a great song. And a fun little montage song, showing Woody trying to keep Forky in line, and trying to not let him in the trash. Oh, and it was great to see the Dynaco petrol station again. And despite the fact that the soundtrack version was used instead of the version made for the franchise, it's still great to hear You've Got a Friend in Me in this film, during the sequence when Andy plays with Woody. I mean, you could never go wrong with hearing any version of that song. So yeah, Toy Story 4 was still a fun adventure. Yeah, it may not have lived up to the second and third movies, but I still enjoyed it. Definitely an improvement over Incredibles 2 by a long shot. And honestly, it's gonna be a tough decision placing it either above or below the first movie. We'll see how I'm feeling about it by the end of the marathon, but right now, I am placing it below the first movie, as much as I don't really want to. So yeah, it is the weakest Toy Story film out of the four, but that does not make it by any means a bad film, because it's Toy Story, for God's sake. What else did you expect? And like I said, I did kind of expect that there was going to potentially be a fifth movie, even before it was announced by Disney. Because I'm one of those people who is curious about where a certain element could go and what said character is up to. So I am intrigued about what's going to happen in the upcoming fifth movie. At the time of this audio recording, I have not seen the film yet, so who knows what could happen. But for now, I can say that Toy Story 4 is really damn good. And I look forward to seeing what the future holds for my favorite Pixar franchise. Tomorrow's movie, though, is going to be interesting, though, as we are nearing the end of this marathon. Next up is Onward, a film that I have not seen since 2020. And I'm curious about how it'll stack up against all the other films we've covered so far. Who knows what this film has in store?